Hello, I am your host, Kate Kent, and welcome to Hairdresser Heartbreak Club, a Destroy the Hairdresser podcast for big-hearted, tender hairdressers like me. Hello. Welcome back. Welcome back, my friends. Today, we're going to talk about collaboration. We're going to talk about this myth, this fairy tale, this elusive thing called collaboration. And I'm joking. I'm joking about that because I think, the buzzwords lately are collaboration over competition. The buzzword hashtags. Collaboration over competition, community over competition, stylists supporting stylists. It's cool. It's happening. We do support one another. But the heartbreaking thing that I see and have seen throughout my career is that sometimes we say we do, but then we don't. And how do I want to phrase this? I guess I shouldn't worry about your feelings because you're all grown adults. If you don't like what I say, then I just turn it off. Stop listening to me. But I have seen and I have experienced some people being supportive to my face and wanting to be collaborative and being, encouraging of organizing events, hosting education, doing lots of stuff, and then just conveniently not showing up. So I say this because, hello, Rusty. Welcome to my home with the dogs that I got. I say this because it gets my hopes up. It gets my hopes up when people are like, this is so rad. This is so cool. I can't wait. Yes, I'm going to come. And then there I am by myself waiting to host people for an event. And so it's part of putting yourself out there and being a host is one of the components. And obviously there's an element of if I'm going to do a thing and I don't have people pay or RSVP or whatever, there's a chance that people might not show up. So that's always a possibility. But when people are audibly saying, yes, I love it, I'll be there, and then they don't follow through, it gets old. Or when people are excited about something and maybe liking it, sharing it on social media, and then you later find out that they don't like it or don't agree with it or are never going to come to your things. So and this is not just my own experience, but I think it is one of those, we want to look like we are people who support everyone and anyone in the industry. And if you don't support anyone and everyone in the industry, then you can't say community over competition. Because it's sort of competitive, right? If you're well, I support the people who do clean beauty, but I don't support the people who do, chemicals. That's not really community, is it? It's having a preference. It's having an opinion. It's thinking that, maybe you're better than somebody else. And that's it's hard to be honest about that, but I think we should be, because if we're going to be supportive of everyone and really help to build a community and not be competitive, we can't talk shit about the people who work at, the walk-in places and who charge $10. And then on the flip side, you can't then talk shit about the people who work in high-end salon, high-end what does that even mean? But different salons and charge more money, right? So everybody wants to be in this middle ground of like, everything's cool. I support what people are doing, but like, I know that that's not true. And I have thoughts and opinions about certain things. But deep down, like, I genuinely want everybody to do well. And if somebody's going to use products that I don't necessarily agree with, it doesn't mean that I don't support them as an artist. But we sometimes get in this place of thinking we're being really supportive of our community, and sometimes we are not. Sometimes we are not at all supportive of our community. And I think it's just important for us to all to stop and look at how we are being supportive. Are we supportive of just our own coworkers within our own salon or shop? Are we being supportive of people who only use the brands that we use because we're like-minded? Like, that's just obvious. Are you being supportive of razor cutters in general? You know, it's kind of this built-in community that is just there. You didn't have to work for that. It wasn't hard, it wasn't difficult. What I think is much harder and challenging is working to bring all those people who have different beliefs, different structures, different systems, different ways of operating their business, different, pricing, hands down, different pricing, bringing all of those people together and supporting literally everyone. That's community. That's saying, oh, you can't meet the needs of this person because their budget is much lower. Well, guess what? At my shop, we charge this and they definitely fit in. That's community. Or saying, I'm going to send you client, to this place across town because they specialize in this thing that you want. And while we could do it and we could take your money and we could watch a YouTube before we do it to make sure we know a little bit about what we're doing, being a supportive community would say, we're not the place for you, but I know exactly where you ought to go, right? So we are getting better because we actually see each other's work, right? Like, there was a time before social media where we just knew the names of salons. We didn't really know a lot about anything that they did unless it said barbershop, unless it said, whatever in the name. So being really smart as a business owner in a community, or just a stylist or a barber in a community, is like wanting to know everyone. Because if you're not able to do something, there is going to be somebody in the community who can. And that, I think, is community over competition. It's not saying we're doing something and we want to capture all of the clients, we want to capture all of the money. It's saying, this is what we're good at, this is what they're good at, let's support everyone. And it all sounds well and good. But when there are, when there's niches of places and spaces and people who kind of overlap and do the same thing, this is where I think the community over competition gets a little bit, what's the right word? Phony. Because again, we're saying I support all of these people, but we're also in competition with them. Right? We have to set ourselves apart. We have to look like we're doing better. And so this is where things start to get weird. This is where it's kind of like, that like keeping up with the Joneses, where people are like buying cars and houses and doing these things to stay competitive with their like neighbors and friends and to make it look as though. And I'm not saying we're making it look as though, but sometimes we're trying to make it look as though we all are a little bit the same and have the same skill set, But what sets us apart in this portion is to really be different, right? The hair that we do could be very much the same, but you as an individual and as a person have to try to say, well, what makes me different? What sets me apart? And while everyone is inherently different and unique, sometimes everybody's the same. Some people are exactly the same. I'm sorry, some of you out there are very much the same. I'm probably the same as somebody else. Like, you could be like, man, fucking Kate Ken's over here on the Heartbreak Club. Tell me I'm exactly the same as somebody else. So I don't know how to wrap this up in a bow, but there's an authentic way to do community over competition. And I think there is a make it look as though I am in support of community over competition, but I don't actually have to put in any effort towards it, right? I can just use the hashtag, I can like people's posts, and that's enough. And I'm here to tell you that it's not. It's not. It's not enough. To be involved in a community, you have to participate. So there is an element of effort and participation in this kind of movement. So that's what I have to say about it. As somebody who has like been trying and it's like pulling teeth to get people to like put in that effort. So I get a little bit upset when I'm like, but I'm boots on the ground out here putting things together for the people that have been asking for it. And then, like it takes effort. It is hard. It is challenging. And you don't just get to throw the hashtag in there without participating. Okay, mic drop. Pow!
Hey hairdressers, are you looking for health insurance? It's time to get healthy with Hairdresser Healthcare, the only coverage designed specifically for the beauty industry. Whether you're an independent stylist, a salon owner with a team, a makeup artist, or a massage therapist, we've got you covered with comprehensive and affordable benefits. With options for self-enrollment and year-round open enrollment, taking control of your health has never been easier. And the best part is, it's available in every state. Visit hairdresserhealthcare.com and take control of your health today because you, your team, and your family deserve it.